Today by just defining what a reset is. When people ask that question, what are they actually referring to? People wake up, they turn on their news, it's there, it happened. Can you walk me through maybe what that day looks like? Like, you know, I get the announcement, I think our audience understands that fear because it's a scary thought that could be the reality one day. That's what we're heading towards. What actually would happen to the currency?
As an analyst, I probably get asked that multiple times throughout the week. That is a key question, right? Because everyone wants to know, when is the reset going to happen? I think what they're really asking, Taylor, is when is it going to be official?
Okay.
When is it going to be apparent? Like, that's when the reset happens. When a government comes out and says, okay, there's going to be a breaking news story. The president, whoever that is at the time, Secretary of Treasury, more than likely the Federal Reserve or the central bank spokesman, will be on TV together and they will announce that now we're going into a new currency. They might say something like, we're going to revalue, we're going to start over, we're going to restructure. There's going to be all these different words, but it's going to be a reset. So I think when people ask, when is the reset going to happen? It's happening now, and there's symptoms to it that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But when someone says, when is the reset going to happen? I think what they're asking is, when is it going to be apparent to me, and when is that official statement going to come out?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
That totally makes sense, because I think a lot of people understand, they can feel what's going on. And not even just feel, right? They look at their bank account, the value of the dollar. We'll talk about purchasing power and more things today too, I'm sure. But you mentioned symptoms leading up to that kind of official reset. I obviously talk about a lot of different things that I'm seeing, but I'm curious from your expertise, when you talk about symptoms, what are those?
So the symptoms that I saw happening in Mexico, and I've also studied other resets, right? Mexico isn't the only country. You've had, you know, Venezuela, you've had Cuba, you've had North Korea, you've had Russia, you've had Zimbabwe, all these other countries. And it's interesting that when you look into it, the symptoms before are very similar. So there's a couple things that are consistent throughout symptoms. So number one is unsustainable debt. Okay, when a country can't service its debt, then it has to do something, right? The other thing is what's called trade imbalances. Trade imbalances is when a country is importing and exporting, but there's a trade imbalance.